Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not continuing to pick 10. My choice, Scotty's choice. We're on Death Becomes Her from 1992, starring Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, directed by Robert Zemeckis. I didn't know he directed this. So this is a movie, and I want to discuss my personal connection to these two, the fan of South Park, Star Wars fan. So what's my personal connection to this? What could be my personal connection to this? Well, there are a few movies that I grew up watching because of my mom. I think this is one of the lesser ones that I think I only watched it once, maybe twice. But I always found it to be a fun time. My mom introduced me to quite a few films, including but not limited to Dirty Dancing, Grease, Xanadu. So, some John Wayne stuff, Jailhouse Rock. But there have been a few that I watched more over the years than others, and this is one of the ones that is not in that category. It's one of those that I maybe watched once when I was younger, once when I was a teenager or young adult, and then watching it now. And watching it now, I do realize why it's not one I go back to. It is a weird movie. I'm going to preface this review by saying this is a weird movie, okay? At the base of this film are two frenemies, basically. Helen, played by Meryl Streep, and Madeline, played by Goldie Hawn. They're two rivals. And when Helen steals Madeline's fiance and marries him years later, Madeline starts planning revenge. And she gets, revenge, becomes fat, she goes to therapy, that sort of thing. And then many, many years later, at this party, they meet up with Madeline for the first time in many years, and she barely looks like she's aged a day. Helen, very jealous, goes to see this woman named Lisa, played by Isabella Rossellini, who tells her that she can have eternal youth, and she becomes younger, and but unfortunately, this eternal youth comes with an unexpected side effect. When Madeline convinces Ernest, her former fiance, to leave Madeline and stage her death, to leave Helen and stage her death, Helen comes home and they have an argument, which ends with Helen being falling down the stairs. He pushes her with a little push, and this is where it's revealed that the eternal youth doesn't just make you eternally young, it stops you from dying. And this is where I had the first issue. This is played for comedy. It's a comical thing where she can't die, but if you go down and break your neck is still broken. So you're technically dead. And so, yeah. When Madeline shows up, eventually, to confront them, Helen finds out that what their plan was and shoots her with a shotgun. And that's where it's revealed, obviously, that Madeline is also used the potion to become eternally young. And, I bet you, back in the day, there's a lot of people surprised by this. I myself, obviously, it's on here, so you wouldn't really know, but I bet if they saw this in the theater, they were surprised by it. But I'm sitting here watching this, remembering it, and I'm thinking, people were smart, and they see that Helen is surprisingly young for her age. She's supposed to be 50, and she looks very young for her age, like she's still in her 30s, like she would be here. And then you have Meryl Streep going and getting that potion, or Helen going to get that potion, and she looks young, and it's oh, well, that's what happened to Madeline, but maybe you don't think of putting two and two together at that point until, And at least by this point, it just becomes insane. Now, Industrial Light and Magic did the effects on this, and for the most part, they sort of still hold up. But there is one scene that made me go, ugh, it's so janky. Is after Helen breaks her neck, she pops up and she's walking towards Ernest and she's backwards. And they use a combination of a real Meryl Streep with a thing on her face, walking backwards with prosthetics make it look like her neck was twisted, and then they put her head with CGI, and it does not look very good. It looks terrible. When she lands on her neck, when she falls, it's CGI-ish. There's some CGI in this that just doesn't look right, but other times, with prosthetic stuff, it does look. There are some things like the hole in Madeline's stomach. It looks really good. They even do the thing where they can see right through her and stuff, and Helen throws something, goes right through her. She's like, oh, damn. And then when she sits down, it was like a pitchfork or something that's now stuck in the couch, and she sits down and it just goes right through it. And it looks all right to me. The score in this is done by Alan Silvestri. And it's a pretty good score. This is Robert Zemeckis' movie. Something I thought about watching this, is especially with the ending. They could have used this for Tales from the Crypt. This feels like it could be a Tales from the Crypt story. You say other things, movies that were almost Tales from the Crypt films, like The Frighteners, or From Dusk Till Dawn. This feels like it should be a Tales from the Crypt film. It feels like that. You got people getting comeuppance at the end, You got shitty people getting their comeuppance for being shitty people. And this guy going on to live a long and happy life away from these shitty people. It feels like it could be a Tales from the Crypt film. All you need at the end is the Crypt Keeper, after they've fallen down the stairs, cut to the Crypt Keeper, and he says, well, I guess you could say for Madeline and Helen, their lives fell apart after he passed away. Something like that. After Ernest's death, their lives fell apart. Or something like that. It felt like that going through. It could be a Tales from the Crypt film. And I think it would work as one. Death Becomes Her. The title Death Becomes Her even sounds like a Tales from the Crypt episode title, And funny enough, during the filming of this, they didn't really have a name. Bruce Willis was kind of come up with names like It's Death Baby or something like that, but they used Death Becomes Her. It was just an idea that one of the screenwriters had of, it was like a witch that was accidentally killed by her husband and wanted to get revenge, and it evolved into this. What I like is that at the end of the film, there's this party at Isabella Rossellini's mansion, Liesel mansion, where it's implied that several celebrities who died are still alive, like Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, Andy Warhol, James Dean. It is heavily implied. Like Elvis is the only one that outright shown, because they're like, you're not supposed to come out in public and raise suspicion, and then there's a crowd split, and they say, Elvis, well, yeah. But stuff like Andy Warhol and Marilyn Monroe, they're just there, and then later when Ernest steals the car, the guy turns around and it's James Dean. He's got the brown spiked up hair, he's got the cigarette in his mouth, and he's got his head down like James Dean would. So, and it feels like, hinting towards that Even in the original script, Liesel was supposed to be Cleopatra. It was hinted that she was Cleopatra, but that was taken out. And there was actually many scenes from the trailer that are not in this film that were deleted for pacing issues. Like there's a deleted scene where the maid Rose finds Meryl Streep in the freezer, and we're gonna get to one of my favorite gags in this because it made me laugh once I realized what was going on. But anyway, when she finds Meryl Streep in the freezer and freaks out, and then Ernest has to take her up the stairs. The weird thing is, that's on the back of the DVD cover, of the DVD case. That is part of that scene, and I'm sitting there going, I don't remember that, because it was one of the deleted scenes. There's even a deleted ending. In the original deleted ending, Ernest gets away from Liesel's party, and he meets a bartender, played by Tracy Ullman. They end up staging his death, and going off and getting married together, and he lives like a happy life, and the other two are forced to take care of each other. It's sort of similar, but to the actual ending, but in this version they get hit by a car and smashed into pieces. And it was more of a happy ending, where Zemeckis wanted a darker ending. So in this version, Ernest dies after having a happy life. It's very weird because they go a little overboard with it, where they say like his life started at 50, and that's why he has like 7 kids, and like at 50 I can see 1 or 2. Is that $3 or 3 sons, 4 daughters, or something like that? And it's like, that's a little too much. I don't even want to say he's happy, but you know. And even the picture of him standing Mount Everest was like from deleted scenes, from the deleted ending of the old man makeup composited onto a mountain climber. But, and just, I don't know, the ending where they're trying to find a piece of paint because they want Ernest to take the potion. Okay, the ending we get is they want Ernest to take the potion, and he ends up at Liesel's mansion, and he tries to get away, and ends up going up onto the roof, and he refuses to take the potion. He drops it, and then he falls, but he lands in Liesel's pool and gets away. And then from this point on, that's when we find out that he's lived a long, happy life. 37 years later, he dies in his 80s, I guess, and he was 50, then he'd be 87 years old. Not a bad age to die. And then they are, you can see their skin peeling and cracking because every time that they die or get a blemish, Ernest has to fix them up. Well, Ernest had enough, and that's when he realizes that they need him to, like, that don't even want him to live forever so that he can fix them forever. He doesn't want that. So, yeah. But, yeah, so they're arguing over what happened to the can of spray paint they need. Turns out it's on the steps. It fell out of a purse. Madeline starts to fall, and she brings Helen with her. They both fall, and they split into pieces. At this point, they're just dead bodies at this point. Why would I imagine they would smell or something by now? I don't know. If that's my one big complaint, is that I get that the whole, they gotta be all messed up and turn around, and, you know, it's played for comedy. But I feel like, practically, for practicality, for them to live forever, like, you're gonna, for Liesel to push this thing up, you can live forever, eternal youth, all that stuff, but then it's like, no, if you fall down a flight of steps, or you get shot, that's gonna be permanent. In my opinion, and in other, I would say, better written films, I should say, because this film's not bad, better written films, it would just simply fix itself, because they would be immortal. So she would get shot in the stomach, but it would fix. She would fall down the stairs, she could fix her neck right away. That sort of thing. But they want to play up the comedy, and that's where I think the Zemeckis comedy, the writers of this film, try to go too much into the comedy aspect with the Oh, she falls down the stairs. Instead of just, fixing her neck, how about it's all messed up and wiggling around? Meryl Streep even said that she didn't like. So this is the last movie she did with special effects that she had to do special effects for, because it felt like going to the dentist and she didn't like that. And I appreciate the special effects. I do. I just think that, like, the whole gag, like I said, it's just too much. I don't know. But it does play into the overall story of the film, whether they need Ernest to fix them up and they're falling apart. And, yeah. But, yeah, I'm going to give it a middle of the road. Because I think it's good, but it's not, it's one of those movies where you watch when you're young and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then you grow up and you're like, okay, it's not as good as I remember, but it's still not bad. That one of those things. So let's go ahead and roll the dice here for the next one. 7. Do I still have 7? I think I do. Bottom 1. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. That is the movie we were doing. I know it has both, but it's because it's a collection. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. I think it's just one of my favorite comedies. That's why I cannot connect my connection there. But so, what are your thoughts on Death Becomes Her? If you comments below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.